The bridge to a larger Social Security check. All right, so an interesting article reading from the Squared Away blog from the folks over at Boston College. I don't have my hat on, and I haven't showered or anything yet this morning. It's only 7:48, 8:48. But and because some guy posted a comment, it's gentlemen take their hats off inside. So even though I'm in my own house, I'm not gonna have my hat on because I want to be a gentleman. I don't think I'm a true gentleman, so I'm hoping this person will bless me with his gentleman. Oh boy, watch, this is the daily routine. Watch this. See that guy right there? Just watch. Oh, there's the other. Oh man, you got me too, Pablo. So that's the daily routine. Stand by the door. Oh, hold on just a second. See if he paused at the door to say, I want to go out. Watch this. You see that? He paused at the door, so let me out of here, Dad. Now he's just going to stand there. Oh, boy. That's who runs this house? Look, he just stands there. He's like, I paused at the door, and I'm just going to stand there. Where's the other guy? Right there. All right. Anyway, let's go back to the less serious stuff. Oh my goodness, I love these dogs. Oh, Heavenly Father, just thank you for giving us dogs because they are the best. Amen. All right, so anyway, we're gonna go into this retirees who post, and we're gonna dive into Right Capital here. This is a big deal, and I like the framing that Boston College is doing. It's interesting. Retirees who postpone collecting Social Security from 62 to 66 get around a third more of their monthly checks. Delaying to 70 increases and more. We all know this. I mean, that's just, no one does not know this, hopefully. But anyway, in a recent experiment, an idea appealed to the idea of a bridge to the Social Security check, a bridge to a larger Social Security check by people with 401k savings. What they do is they withdraw their 401k to live on, as I've talked about a million times on this channel, in order to build a higher Social Security. All right, so basically, essentially, they're buying a higher Social Security check by living off their 401k, which I absolutely recommend the vast majority of people should do. All right, so what they've done, though, is they've actually done a sample size of 1,300 people, and they framed it differently. It's interesting. So I want to show you what they've done here, how they frame this. Can I make this lower? Very, very interesting first. So we have a control group, then we got insurance framing, then we got additional information, then we got default. So check this out. And I'll put links here. And oh, don't forget, we're going live on Locals tomorrow at 4 p.m. Locals only, baby. Kawasaki or Kawabunga, dude. So join us. You guys sign up for Locals, and then if you want to get on my email list, subscribe to the doobly-doo down below. All right, so let's see here. So we have 1,300 people. Their sample size. They're saying, how can we get through to these kids? How do we get through to these kids? That's Cartman when he was a teacher in a Latino urban area. How do we get through to these kids? Anyway, so what we're doing here is we're saying, all right, we got a control group. We got a sample size of 1,300 people. We want to see who would be more willing to do the defer, not just defer, but essentially the bridge strategy. What do we have to how do we position this to get a bigger uptake in that? And so what we're doing here is we are going right here. The control group. Respondents were given minimal information about the bridge option. They were then asked if they would participate in the bridge option, again, living off your 401k while you're taking out Social Security, while you're delaying Social Security, and how much they would allocate to doing that. All right, so it's interesting. They just say, hey, this is an option for you. Would you want to do it? If so, how much? Between 0 and 50% of your retirement accounts. So essentially, hey, here's the option. If you take Social Security now, it's $2,000 a month. If you take it in 5 years, it's $2,500 a month. You can spend a certain amount of money from your 401k to give you a bigger check. How much would you be willing to do that? I hope that makes sense. All right, part two, insurance framing. This condition framed the choice as one of insurance versus investment, highlighting the pros and cons of each. Its presentation was identical to the control groups, with the exception that Social Security benefits were described as a lifetime income account, and the 401k was described as a wealth account. So all they're saying is the exact same thing. They're saying, hey, look, on your lifetime income account, you can increase the benefit from $2,000 to $2,500, whatever. But to do that, you got to spend a certain amount from your wealth account. Would that be okay? That's all they're doing, just changing the terminologies of Social Security versus 401k, replacing Social Security with a lifetime income account and replacing 401k with a wealth account. Group 3, to test whether merely providing more information about the bridge would make people more comfortable with doing it. That's what we gave more information in Group 3. The 4, the default was kind of confusing. I wasn't quite sure what this, but anyway, the default is the treatment tested how effectively making the bridge option the default would be in increasing the take-up. Oh, that's okay. For some reason I didn't get it. So they're basically saying we're going to put this as the option, and then you're going to have to say no. Assumptive sell, essentially. All right, so the default was respondents were shown a table detailing how much of the 401k would be allocated to a bridge by default and what their projected Social Security benefit would be if they stayed with the default option. All right. So share percentages of respondents who would use the bridge strategy in the treatment group. And interesting, if you didn't give people a lot of information, that's the least take up. Still, a quarter of the people took up the bridge strategy once they're made aware of it. The default was only 31%. I thought that'd be the highest just because, again, it's assumptive selling. You're basically saying, this is what we're going to do. You got to say no. And 31% of the people still took with it, and yet 60, whatever that is, 9% of the people said no, which is interesting. I would have thought that had been much higher. And the reason is that because everyone in mom says, if we use this as a default, i.e. automatic enrollment to 401k, you're going to have more people take up on 401k because people are essentially lazy. But that's not what happened here. I thought that was pretty interesting. If you frame it as insurance or additional information, got a third of the people, more than a third, to take up the bridge strategy, which I thought was interesting, which is kind of what I do on this YouTube channel. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to jump into some right capital and show you what this means. All right. I just want to kind of play around because I like right capital. I like playing around. All right. So we got Kevin Sample. He's a dude, single dude, all right, or a single lady. You don't use enough single people. Pay no mind to the fit. I don't care about the probability of success. I just want to show you how this would work in right capital or any kind of software. I don't care. In reality, essentially, he's got $400,000 in his 401k. All right, we call it an IRA. Dude, I just let you out, and you didn't go outside. No, we're not doing that. Watch, we're gonna hear a bark here in a second, guaranteed. So he's got $400,000 in Fidelity Balance Fund, so I can be balanced, not just say Vanguard all the time. All right, it's all in an IRA, which means it will be taxable. He's got, goodness, how can I resist? All right, he just sat down like, Dad, let me outside, please. Dad. All right, so now our goals, we're going to look at, we need about $50,000 a year. Oh, hold on 1 second, do something. The simplicity is $50,000 a year when you factor in taxes. He needs $4,000 a month to live on. What about health care? It's in here. It's in here. I'm just saying $4,000 a month. That's what he needs for everything. To pay the bills, to friggin' get his dog, his shots, his food for his dogs, and health care. It's in here. What about health care? Oh, dude. Drives me up the wall. Everyone's like, what about health care? It's like, just keep it simple. Let's start with a baseline. So he needs $50,000 a year as income. Now you'll notice we got the retirement spending stages. That means when he hits 75, he'll drop by 10%, and when he hits 85, he'll drop by another 10%. But we only have what's his name? Kevin. I think is that his name, Kevin? Yeah, he's only going to live till he's 86. All right, so we're the life expectancy of 24 years. All right, so then his income is going to be solely from Social Security, and we can see his Social Security, his PIA is $3,000. All right, now if he takes it early, then this will be reduced by about 25% or so. If he takes it later, this will be increased by 24%, whatever it is. So the software will figure it out. All right, so that's what we're dealing with. So now we're going to say, again, we're going to go to retirement, and we're going to say under the proposed or the current strategy where he takes Social Security early at a reduced amount. Remember, his PIA was $3,000 a month. Actually, it'd be reduced to about $2,000. He's going to get a significant reduction if he takes it early. So his PIA is $3,000 a month, but if he takes it at, which is $36,000 a year, if he takes it at 60 early, it'll be reduced by about 33%, 32%. All right, so it was a lot more than what I initially said. So his PIA is $36,000 a year, but if he takes it early, it's only $25,000 a year. All right, so he needs $50,000 a year of income essentially, of which half is coming from Social Security at 62, or I guess 63. Okay. So here's his expenses, $50,000 a year to include taxes. So obviously $25,000 from Social Security. The rest has got to come from his portfolio. Everybody with me on that? So now let's go to proposed plan. I'll share with you just what we did here in just a second. Here he's taking Social Security as full retirement age. All right, so but in the next 4 years, he's got no money, none whatsoever. So it's got to come from his 401k, which means he has a little bit more taxes to pay as well. I think I have him living in California. So he's $48,000 a year of income or spending. He needs about $6,000 in taxes. So his drawdown is $54,000. But by the time Social Security kicks in, he only needs $20,000 from his portfolio. Why? Because he's getting a bigger Social Security check. Rocket science. Now you say you get the first thing I say. What are you doing for returns? I'm only giving him a 5.4% rate of return with pretty significant volatility, more so than 34. Yeah, less than 2008, but not much less. But significantly less average rates of return. That's his current allocation. Everybody with me so far? So if we go to retirement, you can see his current plan of taking Social Security early. Oh boy, he only has a 26% probability of success. We'll go on that here in a second. A 58% if he takes it at full retirement age. So inherently buying the bridge strategy for him works better. Now let's go into accounts. Let's see what the balance is under the current plan where he takes Social Security early. His 401k would be worth, he'd run out in 2043. So he'd run out of money in 2043 from his 401k. And at that point, he's just living off his reduced Social Security. I'm not a big fan of that, man. Now, the proposed plan, hey, baby, he would run out of money. Well, this is a linear rate of return, but never. Right? So never run out of money. Again, this is linear. It's not a Monte Carlo. So to look at the Monte Carlo, we look at this instead. And so 58% of the time he has money left. And basically right there, well, he doesn't really hit running out of money 25% of the time right there when he is 80 years old would be where he 25% more than at least 25% of the time he ran out of money, if that makes sense. But median, he still has $60,000 in today's dollars in the median. So that's still pretty attractive to me. It's not great, but it's pretty attractive. I mean, that proves right there the bridge strategy works without question. So now let's take it at age of 70. And I don't think it's going to look as good. You might be surprised. Let's go down here. So he gets the full benefit. I think it's going to be reduced. No, yeah, not much, but a little bit reduced. So it's hard to make an argument he should wait till he's 70 to take it if you're single. But here you can see he's getting he's getting a big fat Social Security benefit at 70 because he delayed it from 3,000 to be 4,000. So essentially 3,000 at PIA is 4,000 at 70 is 2,000 at 62. But his portfolio will have been reduced to right there, $72,000 until Social Security kicks in. Now, what's going to happen is he'll start building it back up on a linear rate of return, again at 5.3. That's just not realistic, so we want to go to the Monte Carlo, and you can see it's at 57 and 22,000 is what his median liquid net worth is. That doesn't, so you can see he's drawn it down, boom, right there. I mean, it's just falling off like a brick in water. Due to gravity, Josh, gravity. Prove it. I can't prove it, but it's there. It's there. Mass attracts mass. Cavendish. It's like people are parrots. They don't think. Cavendish, mass attracts mass. Oh, come on, man. Anyway, so now he's 70 years old. You can see his median liquid net worth had leveled off. I'm not so sure I'd take this at 70. I would have to see what the situation on the ground is at 67, but I certainly would buy the bridge to take it at 67. Live off your Social Security, live off your portfolio first. From a pure tax perspective, by the way, let's take a look here too. He'll pay $56,000 in total taxes if he delays Social Security till 70, 1.544 of total outflows. I mean, it's just basically no tax. If he takes it at 62, Social Security at 62, he'll pay $100,000 in tax on 1.5 million. So he's going to pay more in tax if he takes it earlier. That's just a fact. Because he has, the facts are what's going to happen is that he needs less of his portfolio the older he gets once he's on Social Security, the longer he delays it. Anyway, so if I were the rocket science at Boston College, I would run. I mean, I don't know what they're using for rates of return. I don't know. But the way to prove the bridge strategy, I hate to say prove it because this isn't, I mean, this is just, you can't prove something in the future based on humanity today. You can't, it's silly. Because I'm just putting in numbers in there that may or may not come to fruition. But the way to showcase a value of the bridge is just right here. This is proof positive of a need to value the bridge. Regardless of how you frame it, I would right here, additional information is, I'm not regardless of how you frame it, with how you frame it is the additional information, i.e. more than a third of the people would buy the bridge, buy themselves a bigger Social Security check if you just show them why it would work. Love to hear your thoughts. All right, we'll see you.